Picture this. You don't wake up in a cozy bed with fluffy pillows and a thermostat. You wake up on the freezing, pitch-black ground of the ancient world. The fire's barely glowing. You hear a snap in the brush outside. Your heart absolutely hammers in your chest. For our ancestors, fear wasn't just some scary movie you could pause and walk away from. It was a daily, relentless, life-or-death reality. In this explainer, we're diving deep into what life before civilization actually looked like. Now, most of us just assume ancient humans were constantly terrified of giant fanged predators. Saber-toothed tigers, massive cave bears. But here's the wild part. That wasn't their greatest fear. Not even close. Their absolute biggest nightmares were these hidden terrors that threatened their survival as a group. And the craziest part? Those exact same ancient fears are still completely controlling your brain right now. Section 1. A world without safety. To really wrap our heads around how our modern minds work, we've got to take a trip back over 50,000 years to a reality entirely defined by absolute, unrelenting uncertainty. I want you to really try and imagine a world literally stripped of everything. No police, no hospitals, no electricity, zero supermarkets, no roads, and definitely no houses. Without a single one of these modern safety nets we totally take for granted, every single morning kicked off with one incredibly heavy question. Am I actually going to survive today? You didn't know if there'd be food. You didn't know if a freak storm would just wipe out your makeshift shelter. Survival wasn't just handed to you. It had to be hard-earned, every single day. Think about it. Today, we absolutely lose our minds over slow Wi-Fi or a delayed package, right? But back then, a tiny little scrape on your leg could literally end your life. No antibiotics, no urgent care, no rescue teams. That incredibly harsh reality forged a brain that was highly alert, always scanning the horizon, basically a finely tuned danger-detecting machine. And guess what? That exact same piece of hardware is sitting right inside your skull today. Which brings us to Section 2. The greatest fear, and why isolation was a literal death sentence. Now, what's truly fascinating about this next concept is that the number one threat to our ancestors wasn't some giant beast. It wasn't even starving to death. It was being completely alone. Out in the prehistoric wilderness, a single person on their own had basically zero chance. Surviving meant operating as a totally cohesive unit. You had to hunt together to take down big game, protect the kids as a group, share whatever scraps of food you managed to find, and take turns keeping watch in the pitch-black night. Operating as a tribe wasn't some fun lifestyle choice. It was mandatory, which meant that getting rejected or kicked out of your group, that was a guaranteed death sentence. And this right here reveals a profound psychological truth about why we feel the way we do today. Modern neuroscience shows us that experiencing social rejection lights up the exact same regions of your brain as physical pain. Ever wonder why a harsh critique, public embarrassment, or just being ignored hurts so incredibly much? It's because your brain literally treats social exclusion like a lethal physical attack. For thousands of generations, losing your tribe meant losing your life, and your brain has not forgotten that. Section 3. The darkness was different. Let's think about what happened the very second the sun dipped below the horizon and the fire went out. For us, darkness is what? A minor inconvenience? You walk into a room, you flip a switch, and boom, let there be light. But for ancient humans, darkness was this terrifying phenomenon where the entire world just disappeared. The second that light faded, unseen predators could creep up completely unnoticed. It meant losing your path in the wild, with fatal dangers lurking just inches away. Even the tiny rustle of a branch became a heart-stopping, terrifying event. Modern neuroscience suggests a really chilling reality about this. When visual information disappears, your brain instantly prepares for danger. Your mind naturally starts filling in those unseen spaces with total worst-case scenarios just to keep you on high alert. That ancient reflex, that's exactly why you might still intuitively hate sleeping in a pitch-black room, or why you get that weird shiver down your spine walking down an unlit hallway. Moving on to Section 4, the silent enemy, and the constant threat of starvation. Beyond the terrifying darkness, there was a slower, much more constant enemy creeping through the ancient world. An empty stomach. Hollywood loves to show our ancestors battling giant, mythical-looking beasts, but the real day-to-day was a much quieter, desperate fight just to stay fed. Navigating those unpredictable food sources was brutal. One bad season could wipe out an entire tribe. Hunts could fail for days. A sudden change in weather could instantly destroy foraging grounds. Plants just vanished with the seasons, and animal herds migrated away. Kids needed constant nutrition, so finding every single calorie was a precious, literal matter of life and death. That deep, lingering uncertainty permanently wired our relationship with food. In the ancient world, sugar, fat, and high-calorie meals were rare, absolutely incredible survival tools, so our brains evolved to crave them obsessively. Now fast forward to today's world of superabundance, where these high-calorie foods are literally everywhere. The exact same instincts that evolved to keep us alive through freezing, harsh winters are now the very instincts contributing to overeating and health struggles today. Section 5. Fear of the unknown and the danger of strangers. Picture this. You're looking across a vast, prehistoric landscape, and you see another group of humans approaching in the distance. Friend or enemy? There was absolutely no way to know. And let me tell you, this was the ultimate high-stakes gamble. Maybe these strangers wanted to trade peacefully, but maybe they wanted to fight you for your precious land, water, or food. Being too trusting could easily get you and your whole family killed. But on the flip side, being too suspicious meant you might miss out on a life-saving alliance. This intense life-for-death gamble is exactly why we evolved this incredible superpower, to instantly read facial expressions and pick up on subtle body language. So when you make a snap judgment about someone new today in just a matter of seconds, you're basically running an ancient autopilot program, a survival system that's still operating flawlessly in your head. Section 6. Unpredictable nature. Searching for meaning in the chaos. On top of all the human and biological threats, our ancestors were completely at the mercy of a world they just couldn't control or predict. Nature literally held all the cards. Imagine living through unpredictable, raging storms, massive wildfires, terrifying lightning strikes, and earth-shattering quakes with absolutely zero scientific understanding of what was going on. To early humans, this stuff felt totally supernatural. Because it couldn't stop the destructive forces of nature, they created stories, myths, and rituals to find some kind of meaning in all that chaos. By explaining the unexplainable, they actually managed to reduce their collective fear and profoundly strengthen their tribal bonds. And you know what? Even today, the human brain desperately seeks patterns during moments of high uncertainty. When we can't explain something in our modern lives, like a sudden economic crash, a global pandemic, or just a really strange coincidence, our minds immediately try to force logic onto unpredictable, scary situations. It's a fundamental part of being human, and it's deeply rooted in our ancestors' desperate need to make sense of a terrifying world. Section 7. Your ancient brain today. Why we feel the way we do. As we wrap up this explainer, let's connect all of these prehistoric struggles directly to you, the person tuning into this right now. The vital takeaway here is this incredible mismatch in pacing. See, human civilization completely transformed the physical world at lightning speed. We built towering cities, the internet, modern medicine. But your biological brain? It evolved long, long before any of those cities existed. It simply couldn't evolve fast enough to keep up with the world we've built. You inherited a mind that survived by staying hyper-alert. You fear rejection, you crave belonging, you get incredibly anxious during uncertainty, and you can instantly spot an angry face in a crowd. What manifests today as your daily worries and social anxieties are really just the echoes of prehistoric survival. This right here offers a profound paradigm shift. These aren't flaws. They're ancient survival programs. The next time you feel anxious or terrified of failing or just embarrassed, I really want you to realize something important. It is not a personal weakness. It's actually a highly successful ancient survival mechanism, quietly doing its job, trying to keep you alive in a world that disappeared thousands of years ago. Ancient humans didn't just fear monsters in the dark. They feared losing the very things that kept them alive. Remember, while understanding this ancient brain doesn't completely erase your fear, it finally explains why it exists in the first place. And recognizing that truth, that is the very first step toward truly mastering it. So I'll leave you with this to think about. How will understanding your ancient brain change the way you face your modern fears tomorrow?